We're thrilled to be here. Just a little bit about ourselves. We've been Christians like we are now for about 35 years, and we planted and pastored the Vineyard Church in Winchester, and handed that over in the end of 2011, and the Lord called us to the Midlands. We now live in Warwickshire. When that was happening, we said, you know, what have you got for the future for us, Lord? And he said, I want you to start something called Culture Changers. And we thought, hey, that's a really cool name. I think you should give that to some young thrusting 40-year-olds, not a pair of pensioners. But he said, no, that's the name I'm giving you. And so for the last 4 years or so, we've been on a bit of an adventure, discovering, apart from anything else, what Culture Changers is. And I'll let my wife share a bit more about that.
Okay, well, what that hop, whatever you did just there, was what we totally, that was, I mean, thank you, because that's what
we were about.
Yeah, and I think for us, all these wonderful people are saying such impressive things, and I'm thinking help. But I'd like to give you just two stories. One about how the Lord completely shocked us out of our old life about 4 years ago. And then if you just share the Native American thing. When we left Winvin, which we loved, we came up to Warwickshire, and I, at the time, was very ill. I didn't realise, but I had to have a big operation 3 days after we arrived. And I was longing to get going on church planting or something like that. And Hugh said to me, I'm not going to control anything anymore. And I said, you'll just jolly well have to. And the Lord said, Ginny, this is a new season. And about 4 weeks later, I was lying in bed at about 4 in the morning, and I felt something on my shoulder. And I stretched out, and I found a key. And I've never had anything sort of supernatural like that really before. Anyway, I didn't know what to do with it. But because it was 4 in the morning, I thought, I won't wake up Hugh, he won't appreciate it. So I waited till 6, and then I said, darling, I found this key on my shoulder, and it was an Allen key. And he said, we don't have an Allen key, and we certainly don't have it in our bed. It's sort of an IKEA thing, isn't it? And so I immediately rang up my mentor, Anne Watson, who you may or may not know, but her husband was very instrumental in starting a move of God years ago in York. And she said, well, what did the Lord say? I said, well, I was so shocked I didn't ask him. So she said, well, go and ask him and ring me back. So I said, Lord, what do you say about this key? And he said, look up keys in the Bible. And the first verse we came to was Isaiah 22:22. See, I lay on your shoulder the key to the house of David, and that which you open, no one can shut, and the other way around.
What you shut, no one can open.
Yeah. And we said, Lord, we don't know what this means. And he said, I don't want you to start a movement. I want you to reconnect my family. And he began to show us that church is about family and not about church. And when Jesus was resurrected, the first thing he said was, I'm going to my God and your God, my Father and your Father. And we're beginning to understand the importance of family. So when you read your poem, for my language, it was exactly that. It's about honouring differences. It's about seeing what God is doing. It's about knowing him in intimacy as my daddy. And from that, being able to go out, rather than going out as a sort of hammer and a nail. And I just think, well, I know I mustn't overrun, but can you just share one thing about something else?
We were...
there's 2 of you, so we'll allow it just this once, but we're in injury time.
We were out in Bethel Church in Redmond, California some years ago. A friend of ours came out of the prayer room there and said to Ginny, I see you with an Indian headdress on. And she thought, oh no, not a burqa or something like that, you see. And he said, no, a Native American Indian headdress, feathers and this sort of thing. And, we didn't know what this meant, but he said, he prayed into it, he said, it's about leadership. And this is the thing, really, that if you say to the colonel in the 7th Cavalry, I want 500 men at Little Rock at sunrise on Friday, he says, yes, sir, and I will be there. But if you say to the American Indian, I want 500 men at sunrise at Little Rock Friday, he says, well, I'll be there, but I have no idea how many other people will be, because I lead my people, I don't command them. And I have been a commander in church, commanding my people, and in the Navy beforehand. We now lead by example with servant leaders, and it's can't change it. It's a flat network of connecting people in family and groups.